it's Lee from coloringqueen.net, and today I've got my collection of Russian artist Anastasia Elly Koldareva. Now, I am absolutely positive that that is not the way to pronounce her name, but I really don't know how to pronounce it. So I'm sorry, Anastasia. That is the best that I can do. Now, for one reason or another, I haven't reviewed as yet the lovely Mysteria that was released at the end of December 2018, or the most beautiful When Dragons Dream, which was also featured in Colouring Heaven magazine recently as well. So I'll be reviewing those earlier books, but right now I want to start with the latest, which is Nocturnes. If you haven't seen any of the others, I'll put the links to those reviews below if you wanted to skip ahead, or if you want to watch the whole video, you can see all three of them. So while we've got them here, you can see that they're all the same size and they all feature a card cover with left-hand spiral binding. And just so that you're familiar, here we have Secret Garden up against Nocturnes, and you can see there's about 1 centimetre on the right side and about 1/2 centimetre at the top difference, but I've also excluded the coil binding on here because we don't colour up into that edge. So it's about 1 centimetre and 1/2 centimetre at the top, larger than Secret Garden. Got a lovely glossy card cover with this beautiful artwork on it, which tells you straight away that it's a colouring book based on portraits. The back card is really sturdy, so it makes it good to lie down flat on the table. And the illustrations are all printed on single-sided paper, which is white and very smooth. Now look at this delicate grayscale that she does. It's so wispy and shadowy, it's just beautiful. And I'd love to know what the tattoo says, if anyone is able to translate that for me. And look at this, the grayscale tone on this is just so delicate. It's just beautiful. And then we've got this backdrop of lovely little dandelions by the looks of it, which are in line art, whereas the birds are all extremely textured and the moon is in line art. So I love how she mixes up these styles and really makes us think. Now the paper is a medium weight. I would put a piece of paper underneath it so you don't ruin any of these gorgeous images, but look at the delicacy of this grayscale. I hope the camera is picking up how delicate that grayscale is. It's just so subtle. So you've still got opportunity to do what you want creatively. The grayscale is not overwhelming, but it's just so subtly guiding you through colouring these gorgeous illustrations. And they all feature beautiful women. So we've got our underwater scene here with our gorgeous little fishy. And our bubbles aren't grayscaled at all, but we've got a lot of texture in our corals and sea plants there. And look at this, isn't it beautiful? Look at all those little fine textures. You feel like you know this dog. And we've got a lovely little card. I didn't notice that when I shook the book earlier. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's a beautiful little postcard. So I'll keep that with my collection of postcards. I think we all know that I'm not going to be giving it away to anybody. Look at this, the Christmas ornament's got the candle inside it. And look at all this texture. It is just beautiful. Now, I wasn't going to get this book. I had in my mind that there's only a few books that I would like to get this year. Isn't that funny? I can hear you all laughing now. And this one wasn't going to be one of them because, you know, quite frankly, money is so tight, not having a job since virtually a year ago now, that I thought I'd better not buy anything. But then, of course, you know, I think it's pretty obvious that I can't stand a collection that I have of a particular artist to be missing a book. It's sort of like a real OCD thing with me, and I have to have artists that I collect, I have to have all of their books. So I had to have it. So, of course, we're living on Vegemite sandwiches, you know, so I can have my book. So we've got these beautiful, I think they're sweet peas, coming up the side. And again, only very light texture on those, but lots of texture in the hair and in her beautiful, elaborate collar and blouse there. It's like a bolero jacket, I think. Very ornate, and just this subtle softness of her artwork. It's just beautiful. And look at that gorgeous hair. And then the roses don't have quite as much texture. I really like the way she does that. It's just incredibly interesting. I think this is a gorgeous picture too. Do you notice that she's managed to put the faces into different positions and profiles? So look at the incline on her head. We don't often see that pose. So it gives you something to think about with your light source and how you shade things when the face is positioned differently and when you've got things like the shoulder coming up in front. Look at all these gorgeous little bats. I think bats are adorable. Oh God, how adorable is this? We've got a bunny rabbit and we've got a cat snarling. Now, I know you guys have seen Millie before in videos and whatnot, but I tell you, they warned me at the shelter when we adopted her that she didn't like being groomed. And I tell you, that is so true, because that expression on that cat that you just seen is Millie's. And then she actually bites me and scratches me, so I've got to try and wean her out of that habit. But I think Anastasia's perfectly depicted my cat. David calls her Crazy Cat. Look at this. This is beautiful. Look at the way her arm is. Now, I have to say that I do find Anastasia's hands to be a little bit masculine, but they are still very beautiful, don't get me wrong. I just feel that they're a little bit masculine, and like the width between there is a little bit long, but I mean, I can barely draw a stick figure, so who am I to criticise an artist's work? And as I understand it, hands are one of the most incredibly difficult things to draw. I don't know that I'll be drawing this one. The creepy fluffy spider, tarantula, on her head is creeping me out. We'll say goodbye to that one. The gorgeous owl, and again this beautiful softness. She has got a way of creating softness that is just fantastic. It's really, really beautiful, especially when you've got the line art, then the softness. Now these hands are more feminine, I think. And she does these knots on the hair. They're just amazing. And if you want to learn how to colour in the hair in the knots like that, Colouring with Sammy, I think that's the name of her channel. And here's that cover art picture. She's got a whole series on colouring hair, and there's some in knot shapes like that as well. So beautiful, absolutely stunning. I love all the different styles. We've got all the lovely snakes in here, in amongst all these beautiful curls. So it's a modern Medusa. But then she's got on her shoulder a grey scale that looks like actual mermaid scales, or perhaps reptile scales. Perhaps she is Snake Woman herself. But then you see that that scaling is just on the top part of her arm and not the rest of her body. So it's very different. Now the line art is a soft black. Look at this cat. It's one of those hairless ones, I think. It looks very appropriate to the picture and the pose. The facial expression and the dog collars, matching dog collars. They mean business, those ones. And then we go to the romantic world, where we've got this lovely coat with, you can imagine that, white fur and the beautiful owl and the girl with the headdress and gorgeous hair, after just going from the dog collar pose. And then we've got a Asian beauty. Oh, this is gorgeous. She's lying on like a Chesterfield couch. And look at this beautiful horse. It's as decorated as her. And we've got the little piggy and bats, beautiful flowers, absolutely stunning. And this one we've got the beautiful sheer soft flowing fabric and just a whole field of flowers there. And of course all good things must come to an end, as does Nocturnes. So if you haven't seen Mysteria or When Dragons Dream, stick around because I'll be showing those now. So the gorgeous Mysteria was released in December 2018. Isn't this cover just stunning? And mine was autographed. Thank you very much, Anastasia. And unfortunately, that was when we moved back to Sydney. So unfortunately, it was here in the mailbox when I came back to Queensland. So look at this beautiful colouring nameplate page. We didn't get that in Nocturnes. And look at her beautiful scales. That's just lovely. Her paper is white and it's medium quality. And it feels slightly the same as Nocturnes, but perhaps a bit heavier. And it does feel like that this one is not quite as smooth. Now I'm happy to be wrong if someone tells me about the paper for this book, but that's just what it feels like to touch for me. And so we've got this beautiful shading, and unlike in the Nocturnes, it's not the soft shading, it's the textural with small lines and the pointillism with the small dots everywhere. She's obviously a very versatile artist and can turn her hand to all sorts of things. But I love the way that these are all encircled in this lovely little circle here. Gives them some interest, and it kind of tells you where to stop doing the background. Like you don't have to go outside the circle, or you could keep it framed within. And these beautiful shells and carp. This is a gorgeous picture, this one. And the hands look very beautiful as well. And look at this, she's got the tattooed around her eyes, they sort of replicate wings. And then we've got all these opportunities to do gemstones around the edge. And I can just imagine that as one of those brass plates that you see at like Turkish or Moroccan bazaars. And we've got our gorgeous fairy. And all this black shading that you see here is just by little small dots. That's one way to keep your mouth shut. And so many beautiful different butterflies. I love the symmetry of this one with her face above the owl. You can see the difference in eyes and mouths and just the way the owl's face is framed up against the ovalness of the girl's face. It's very interesting, that one. And we've got our gorgeous little lizard here. That's beautiful. She does such a variety of flowers too. They're all different. And the facial expressions are different. She looks like she's going to cry, this one. And look at her hair. She is gorgeous. And so we've got the beautiful bee on top of her head. And the way that she shades these eyelids, it really looks like a photograph. It's just so delicate and soft. And another gorgeous fairy. And this is that beautiful cover art. And look at those gorgeous beads down her back. And that beautiful loose knot of hair. And more gorgeous crystals with really light line art there, showing that they're in the background. Look at all these ones at the front. And beautiful crystals and stones around the edges too to colour. And some different flowers here. And our little hummingbirds, I think. I really like how she's got everything in the round circle here, except for just these little elements sticking out the side. I think that'd look gorgeous framed. As with this one, with the kookaburras, and just really gorgeous. All those, I think they're kookaburras, they look like it. I like these ram horn hair braids. They're beautiful with all these gems. And you could imagine that in a gold background with all these coloured gems on it. I really love the clever way she's divided this picture. Yeah, and Millie loves it too. Do you know, she sleeps all the time, and then as soon as you turn the film on, she's out. But what I was saying was, I love the way she's divided this picture with the hands. So we've got the sea elements down here and the sea plants and the pearls above. Yes, it is hard to work with children and animals. And here we've got the gorgeous, beautiful hair with those lovely flowers. And the flowers are in line art. So we've got that beautiful spiral hair, and I love this daisy-like tattoo around her eye. And beautiful feminine hands. Then we've got the beautiful shell and all of these lovely beaded earrings. You'd really have a lot of fun with that one. Here's another gorgeous owl. Look at the soft expression on her face. It's just stunning. And really soft shading here on the back. It's done by very small black lines, very thin. And then the line art in the back. This is another stunning bird. What I really like about her artwork